hope everything is rather good at your place. And boy, wasn't it a soggy old weekend, unbelievably wet for so many of us. I think, in fact, about the Deep South was about the only place that didn't get rained out over the weekend. Good news about that. I don't know about you, but I got a power of knitting done over the weekend. It was incredible. In fact, it was great. I had a good chunk of a whole day where all I did was binge watch TV and knit. And I cannot tell you how long it's been since I've done that. Good morning, everyone. And now I feel guilty because I've got to bring my knitting in to show you. But what I was working on was the Limerick tea, the Limerick Henley rather, which I am doing for my husband in the Kelly & Co. And I started on the sleeve. So I have completely finished the back now, and I've decided to actually do the sleeves next, and then I will start on the front. And it's a great pattern. I'm really enjoying it. And the sleeves are great because they're completely plain, which, and I'm sort of over halfway through the first sleeve already. So they're actually, I think I'm going to get them knocked out fairly quickly. So I'm really happy about that. So I'm going to get those knocked out really, really quickly. And then I did a little bit of crocheting last night, just on my scrappy blanket. So it's a weekend where I've done probably more knitting and crocheting than I did the entire time I was on my break. So that was awesome. Really pleased about that. And sorry about the sort of clashing attire this morning. We've gone from insanely humid and hot days here, sort of, I'm talking late 20 to 30 plus and 80 and 90% humidity, to something incredibly cool this morning. And I arrived here and I was like, oh, I actually haven't put enough layers on. So I literally had to go out into the shop and steal this off the wall. I know, crazy, right? But this, it's perfect. This is a Rebel. It's in Sock Bandit, and it is great. It's absolutely perfect for a day like today. And we love these. We love these sorts of over-the-top layers. So good morning. Everyone's piling in this morning. So good to see everyone here today. I hope your weekends were all well and good. So it's so nice to see everyone. So what I thought I'd talk about today is a new pattern that has just landed today. I've mentioned it actually last week with both Libby and Ethan, and that is the Ladies' Lunch Tea by Harnie Hoolies, which is the wonderful Julie Monk. And she has been teasing it over in her social media for a while now. And Ethan has seen all of these. She was down in Christchurch with them just before a few weeks ago and brought all of these down with some of her fabulous yarn. And there is the tea there. It is it's a great pattern. It is an absolute great pattern. And what's great about it is it's one of those designs that's effortless, simple, classical. It will look fantastic. There's some really neat little, I've just been looking through it. There's some really nice little technique pieces in there to keep you sort of interested. And it's also a design that is a great thing to use up scraps. And that was one of the things that Julie had mentioned, was it was a really, really good stash busting design. So she has done 3 samples up. That original one, which I showed you on the front, which is this one down here, and that's using her gorgeous silk yarn. And one of the things I can tell you about Julie and Paul and Harnie Hoolies is that they specialize in silk yarns and dyeing silk yarns. They do, I think, probably the best silk in the business that you can get from an independent in this country, and we love it. And I had some silk. Some of you may have snapped this up. I know you did, when I had some silk last year that we were trialing out, and we dyed some at the mill, but I also got Julie to have a look at it for me and do some testing on it. So she did a couple of skeins for me, which I've got. So I'm going to show you some colour selections that I've got. And I thought we could go through and talk about some different ideas in terms of what we've got in Skeinz yarn that we can do in this design, but also too, what if you've got a unicorn skein in your stash and you think to yourself, well, actually I'd really like a couple of skeins, and you're all shawled out. You know how you've bought a couple of beautiful skeins from an indie dyer, 2 or 3 maybe, and you just get to a point and you kind of like, No, I just can't. Yeah, I'm all shawled out. Can't do this anymore. I've had enough. I want to do something different. So you sort of get to a point where you think to yourself, well, what do I do with it? You know, where do I go with it? What do I need to do? So this is where I think this pattern is going to be an absolute gem, because it's she's been brilliant, because Julie has gone and outlined exactly what you require for main colours and contrast colours, and actually how to divide that out and how many that you may require. So if you've got those unicorn skeins, or you've got some scraps rolling around, how you can make your own very special ladies' lunch tea. So the first thing I would definitely say when it comes to yarn selection with this, and this is why Julie's yarns are fantastic, is that you're wanting something that, as you can see, can be worn comfortably next to the skin. So it is designed as a tee. So that's where silk obviously is an obvious choice, which is what Julie's gone and used, because, you know, this is incredibly, and this is one of the silks that Julie had dyed for me. And some of you may have had these silks, have got some of these silks that we did last year. In this, if you've got some of this, you bought some of this and you thought, I'm going to buy it because the price is amazing, but I don't know what to do with it, this is the great pattern for it. So this next to the skin is perfect. So I would definitely, if you've got these and you're looking for something, this is going to be a great pattern to do it. So for me, I had these three silks sitting in my sample basket next to my desk, and I just had the three of them sitting there like this. And of course, they're very spring colours. And I happened to glance over, and I also had, I've got 3 skeins of this, but I've also got this gorgeous little job here. And I've had this one for a number of years, probably at least, I would say at least 5 or 6 years, at least 6 years actually. And as you can see, that's very spring-like colours. And you throw all of those together, voila, look fantastic. So let's have a look at the yarn requirements. And this is where Julie has been wonderful. I'm going to pop actually the tea up on here so you can see it. I'm not as organised as I like to be this morning. I'm on time, so that's a start for me, isn't it? Right, there it is. Let's get this all up for you. There we go. So there is the design there. Absolutely gorgeous. So this is available on Julie's website, harniehooliesdesigns.com. I definitely recommend that you purchase it direct from Julie. And it is absolutely, and I've already purchased it. You do your download, and as you can see, there's some more images of this gorgeous pattern. And I loved actually when Julie got these images taken, she wore it with a collection of different things, like perfect for trousers or slacks, wide leg pants, skirts. It is just a beautiful knitted tee that works really well. So she's got in here some really good, this is what I love, she's gone and placed a huge amount of measurements in here. And this is really important because it means that you're able to get that really good fit. And she's gone and done in terms of what the neck ribbing is, what the underarm hem is, the depths. You can actually make alterations to this. So you can actually look at these finished measurements, take those measurements against yourself, and it means that you can actually make alterations. So for example, if you want a deeper neck rib, you can add a deeper neck rib or a deeper ribbing at the hem. You can look at the underarm length or the arm circumference or the bust circumference, and you can actually make those little modifications yourself. So this is about doing your own measurements and actually being really comfortable about your own measurements. As you can see, there is where's the ease in this? There is a good amount of ease. She got that just here. No, but there is actually a good amount of positive ease in this. I'm sure she has got these because she is so jolly good on these things. Oh, I see what she's gone and done. Right. So she's got these in finished measurements. So this is be finished and blocked measurements. So this will mean that you will be able to actually dictate the amount of ease that you want in this. So if you wanted something a little bit firmer fitting, you could go for something a bit firmer fitting. If you wanted to add some additional ease, you can add some additional ease. And you're not going to have any issues with this. And I say that because she's gone and done, just looking at the chest measurement. Where is, I saw it, there we go, the bust measurement. See, she's gone in terms of bust measurement all the way up to 170 centimeters, which is actually really, really generous. So there's not going to be any issues whatsoever in terms of developing whether you want a really large, easy fit, loose fit garment, or you're wanting a something. There we go. And I'm just jumping down to inches. Yes, that works out 68 inches. So that's massive. That's absolutely massive. So it means that you can actually have something that is with loads of positive ease, or lots of, even a little bit of negative ease if you wish. So that in itself. So don't be put off by this tremendous amount of numbers in here. She's gone and done this so you can have complete control over your garment, which is fabulous. So the other thing I really like is she's also gone and placed in here a really good guide in terms of the different yarns she's used. So she's done samples in 3 different yarns. She's done her own Silky Mix Silk Face, which is the cover one, which is this top one here that you can see. And then this one below it, this rainbow one below it, is from Yarn Floozy, that's Staple. And then from the one that's from Katrine, and then from Helene, this beautiful one below it, that's Mardi from Happy Go Knitty. So I've gone and selected some yarns to show you from our sort of stable, which will give you sort of very, very similar effects. Now, she says here under yarns, under yarn requirements, she says here, if you're going to be looking to substitute yarn, look for one that's 360 to 400 meters per 100 grams. So that essentially works out at most 4-ply. So we're looking at 4-plies or fingering based yarn. Most 4-plies run at around, if you're in 50-gram balls, most of ours are around 178 meters. So that's essentially the 360. So that's at that end, all the way through to 200. So this is great. If you've got some 4-ply fingering rolling around at home, you are able to actually have a look at what you've got there. And she is saying here, in terms of main colors, so if you're doing the main color, so she's saying the main color is written as main color as a pattern. This is used for the ribbing and the narrow stripes. So that is your main color. So in this one that we're looking at here, that is this sort of blue. It is the pink in her version, and you're looking from smaller. The smaller sizes, you're looking at around 348 meters, which would be a single 100-gram skein, or a couple of balls from the smaller sizes, all the way through to 635-ish meters in the largest size. So just doing a quick bit of mental arithmetic. So you're looking at 4 balls of 450-gram balls, or 2 skeins. 2 skeins of something like this for a main color. So this is great. So this means that if you've got a unicorn skein of something like this rolling around and you want this as your main color, you only need 2, even for the largest size. Then with the contrast, and this is what I love, is in the contrasts, she's gone and put grammages in requirement, but she was saying you need 7 contrast colors, and in size 6 requires, so you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is the 6 long. In size 6, that requires 28 grams, or 114 meters of length approximately. So it's about working out what you've sort of got there and how you can work it in. But she's got plenty of measurements there. So for the mid, roughly halfway through. So you're looking at around anywhere from about, I would say, 90 meters through to about 150 meters for each sort of contrast. But the contrasts aren't 7 contrasting colors. You can actually mix it up. You can completely mix it up, and that's what I really love, is that the power is with you to play around. So let's have a look at some ideas. So what I've gone and pulled together is some colour ideas that, if you're wanting to do this, and I think this is a great pattern to do, it's a fun pattern to do. You can layer it underneath something like this. In fact, if you wanted to twin set, you could twin set it with a Rebel Rebel. I think it would look great as the twin set. But let's get on to some pat selections. So, good morning, everybody. Let's have a look. I've been busy talking and not saying. Oh, thank you, Kathy. Kathy, bless her heart's already gone and popped that in the thing. Right. So I mentioned that here's my unicorn here. I would use actually the unicorn skein in my particular, I'm sort of a bit torn what way I would do it. I would probably use my unicorn skein maybe as a main colour and as a contrast colour all the way through, consistent, and then these as the main colours, but actually divide them out. So do something like those, and then alternate out my small stripes in purple and green with this one moving through in the middle. Or you could flip it around the other way. Do some swatching. Okay, so I'm going to talk about swatching in just in a second. But that's sort of some playing around with that. While we're on unicorn skeins, I also jumped in and had a look at what other unicorn skeins I had rolling around. So this was another one that I also had. As you can see, there's a bit of a theme to the colours that I picked. We were talking about what colours. I wear a lot of autumn colours, but funnily enough, when I got my colours done a million years ago, I was actually a spring. And of course, these are all very spring colours. This is another one. I've got two of these that are from a Bleating Art, and these beautiful, and you can't, potentially, there you go. It's sort of beautiful, soft mauve and cream with this little hint of sort of something slightly grungy and interesting speckled at the end. So then I sort of took this and I thought, well, what do I pair this with? So I looked at the whole point. If you're wanting to do this would make a fantastic contrast color. And I would just have this running through with the speckling all the way through. And then you're wanting those narrow stripes and you want to pull this all together with your hem and your cuffs, right? So I have a look at all the tones in there, and the whole trick with this is to create tones that give you some contrast. And there were two that specifically stood out for me with this. And the first one was actually taking that purple, that mauve, and I grabbed some Baby Bandit, and here is in Baby Bandit Whisper, which is this beautiful purple. And the screen's not going to show it because the colours are playing around. But you could play around with this, and this takes the mauve in this and gives you a deeper purple, which gives you a fantastic contrast. So that's one option. The other option is I could take sort of these deeper, grungier colours here and look at throwing in a dark grey like this. So this is Delavery from Sockmatician Edition. And by putting that dark grey in there, what it does is it actually creates a deep recessed colour background, which allow all the colours in this to absolutely pop. So whilst this will actually still give you contrast, this will melt a little bit more into these colours. This will give you a very divine contrast, and it will allow all the subtle colours in here to completely sing. Will you make a kit with a Baby Bandit mauve? I'm not too sure where you're going with that, Angela. Give me a bit more specific detail. So that's sort of one option. So if you've got unicorn skeins. So that's what I would do is have a look at your unicorn skeins, pick up sort of a colour that you want to highlight, and then make sure that you then take that colour and take it to an extreme. So like take the mauve and then do like a complete purple. And that's where you can use some particularly solid colours and colours that we have in any of the ranges from Pearl Luster all the way up to Mahana, which you can sort of have a look at and actually create a contrast. So that is one thing I would definitely look at. However, if you're wanting to do something fun and you're wanting to do something from scratch, one of the you can do, like she had that beautiful rainbow there, and we're able to do that here too. So if you're wanting to do a fantastic, because a rainbow in those stripes, so she's done two, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So she's got 14 colours there. So she's got a 7-colour rainbow. I actually happen to only grab 6 colours, but as we well know, we do have the pink as well, where you can do a 7-stripe rainbow with sock petition. So I would take that rainbow there, and then I would actually add in the gallow, which is the pink, for that extra shade. That would look fantastic. That with, if I pick it up, the Dilavery at the bottom as your contrast, and you will be able to get a beautiful rainbow tee, just like what they've got in the picture. And with the sock petition, with those beautiful soft gradients, that will give you a little bit of texture and something really, really interesting. Heather, off topic, sorry, do you know if Albertine Wolf Island is in the production schedule for the mill this year? Definitely Albertine is, but I've got a funny feeling Heather Wolf Island isn't. I think that was actually the one colour that wasn't coming back. Almost certain of that. I can go and check Heather and let you know, but I'm also certain of that. So there we go, sock petitions. That is certainly a really good option for you if you're looking for something for the ladies' tee. And of course, with the possum content in there, it's beautiful and soft, and you can definitely wear sock petition next to the skin. If you were wanting, and I know some of you may actually have some leftovers of this, another yarn that would work really well, and particularly if you're wanting to have something is within our stable that was quite close to the Silky McSilk face, is this little combo here. I've just grabbed these 3 out, but this is the Pearl Luster, and Pearl Luster is 225 meters per ball, so this is slightly finer than what Julie has recommended, and if you were to use this, I would potentially drop my needle size. She's got a needle size of 3.25 millimeter needle. I'd potentially be moving back this to a 3 millimeter needle, so you might just have to have a look at where your gauge is at with that one. But as I said, the measurements are so vast, it would you've got a bit of latitude. But we've got a few knitted tees already in this shop, and it makes a great tee. It wears really well. It's soft against the skin. It's a good firm twist on there, and this would make another really good option. Angela, you're asking, is there a black and sock petition? Not a black, but a very deep charcoal, and it's called Dilavery. So that's it there. So it's not fully black, it's just a very, very dark grey. So Pearl Luster is definitely an option for you, and you could play around with all of those colours. If you've got some colours left over, you could play around with those. There's beautiful soft tones in there, so you could have something completely pastel, or there's actually vibrant rich tones, or you can mix the two together. So you've got plenty of colour options. Another yarn that's also at the sort of finer end of the scale, and I know a number of you may have leftovers from the West Knits Mystery Knit Along. And this is why this tee is great, because if you did that knit along, there were definitely a lot of leftovers. This could be a great project to knock a lot of those leftovers on the head, because a lot of the colours that you had were contrasting, all the yarns work together, and this could be a really, really good way to get rid of them and have some fun. And a lot of you did your knit along project in Mahana. They looked amazing. So if you've got some Mahana left, I definitely would consider Mahana for this project. I mean, these ones here, look at those, absolutely beautiful. If you needed a pop of colour, you can throw a pop of colour in there. Again, Mahana is so beautiful and soft. Alpaca, absolutely gorgeous to wear against the skin, and it would be delicious. Michelle is asking, would Orb be suitable? Orb Fine would most definitely be suitable. I didn't grab actually any of that, Michelle, and you're right, Orb Fine would be amazing. And if you've got some Orb Fine lying around, and I know a number of you do, it'd be a great way of using up some Orb Fine. I mean, pretty much everything, so many of our full play yarns, because we design them to use them for babies and infants, it means that they can be worn against the skin, so for even like Sock Bandit, for example, Sock Bandit, amazing. I think Sock Bandit and this would be incredible. Skeinz Sock, again, amazing, really, really incredible. So those are definitely some options. So Sock Bandit's another good one. The other one I grabbed out just for soft one, and it's brand spanking new and great for softer colours if you're wanting to do something, is the new Flight Light. I just grabbed those because I just thought those were really, really pretty. And if you were wanting a beautiful, soft, pretty tea, this could be a really good option for you. 178 metres per ball. It will look absolutely gorgeous, lovely and soft merino and great against the skin. And also, the other one to consider if you wanted a tea that looked quite natural, don't forget the Flight Naturals. That would work really well in this tea. So honestly, to be honest with you, you're only really limited by your imagination on this one. So don't constrain yourself to it must be like this, and I have to do my stripes in order and all of those sorts of things. Tish tosh. No, you don't. You don't have to do that at all. And one of the things that I would do is if you've got your unicorn skeins or you've got some stuff lying around that you want to use, this could be your challenge of how do I use up what I've already got in stash or I've got lying around, and what do I need to supplement if I need to supplement with anything, is take those yarns that you've got and just play around and do a little bit of swatching. And the swatching, I mean, you just need to do just like a small little ladder swatch like this, and that's when you can play around with the blocks of colors. So let's have a little look at where the striping, here we go, I can probably do it on this one here. So she's got it looks like 3 row stripes for the small stripes, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 row stripes for the big ones. But you can just have a little play around, and you can create a, just create some stripes and have a look. And you may decide to go just completely random, that there is no patterning to your stripes, and the only thing consistently holding it together is the contrast color. You may decide to actually the main color, or you may decide that your contrast color is actually going to be all one color and the thin stripes are all going to be crazy town, and you're going to change those around if you've only got a really small amount of yarn. So don't put constraints on yourself that it must be like this or must be like that. I think part of the fun with actually creating a bit of a swatch is to actually see, how am I going to play around with some of these colours? And if you're swatching on the flat, well, then just do it into even numbers. Do sort of two row short stripes and 8 row thick stripes, but it will give you an idea of the way that you want to formulate and play with your colours. And then once you actually get the formula that you like, take a photograph of it and you think, right, yeah, I like that patterning, if you're going for patterning. If you're not, if you're just going to go completely random and dive into the bag and grab whatever takes your fancy, yet don't need to do this, but take a photograph of your swatch. You like that sort of sequence that you're going to do, then unravel everything, because you're going to need to use it, aren't you? Then unravel everything, and then you've got a photograph of where you're at. But don't constrain yourself. Don't constrain yourself at all. The other thing I do love about this is it is a great layering piece. So you can actually take this piece and you can layer it. And Ethan, I think, mentioned this the other day. He is the king of layers. It's not unusual that he will wear 2, 3, or 4 knitted items sort of all layered up on top of each other. What I love about this is that if you're wanting to do something quite twin set-ish, this is a fantastic piece to place under something else. And honestly, just thinking about it, I think Rebel would be the ideal piece to actually lay over the top, like a little bit of a knitted twin set. So if you've already got one of these, you may then want to have a look at this tee and go, actually, I might want to do something a little bit more plain. So I'm looking at this because you don't need to do the stripes at all. You could just completely do this in one color, and you could completely, like, for example, I think I've got 3 of these. If the meterage is enough, you could do just the whole thing all in this if you really wanted to, and maybe just contrast the neck ribbing and the base ribbing if you wanted to. And then what you can do is you can take that when it's something quite plain and place it under with something you've already got. So you've got this here. You may actually look at this and go, you know what, I'm going to do, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll have a little look. So if you're going to do in Sock Bandit, let me just pull up my... I need to actually have these things memorised, don't I? I'm hopeless. Sock Bandit, where are you, my friend? Oh, it's out of stock for the moment. But if you actually did one of those in Rapscallion, or Intrepid, underneath this, if you had some Intrepid at home or some Rapscallion, and then you could have this running over the top of it, it would look amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, and I mean, I've already got one of these actually, as you know, in those beautiful turquoisey shades in this twisted yarn. See, I could actually, if I wanted to twin set it, I could turn around and actually take the Daring Jelly, which is that beautiful mustard, and then actually have that to layer over the top. I can see that this will be one of those patterns that you'll end up knitting again and again and again. And it will be fun. You know, it will be loads and loads of fun. And it is certainly something that I think, just looking at it, it's done from the top down. You're going to have a whole load of fun doing it. Honestly, I really do. I think it's going to be lots and lots of fun. And actually, the nice thing about doing it as a top down as well is that you'll be able to keep going until you get to that measurement that you want under your arms, hence all of those measurements. So if you want something a little bit longer, you can go a bit longer. If you want something a little bit shorter, you can go a little bit shorter. So there's so much there that you will be able to do. So it's so good. Yes, it is. I know, Linda, it is good to use up some stuff in your stash. I think it's, that's the thing. We have all of these stash yarns and we fall into this trap of sort of, I fall into this trap. This is what I fall into the trap to, is I have them sitting there and I just think they're too beautiful. I can't touch them, but I actually really do need to touch them. And I do get to a point where the reality of it is I don't need another shawl. I don't need another cowl. I don't, whereas if it was a garment, that is actually something I'm going to wear on a more ongoing basis. So that's what I love. That's what I love about this, is to be able to have this and to wear it and to use it and to love it and to, completely enjoy it. So that can be, it's fun. I think it's fun, particularly if you take a unicorn skein and try and match it up with something else, which is a load of fun. It is still Vintage Month here with the Skeinz Speakeasy. If you haven't put up, so retro is the theme. Vintage, that was last year. Oh, last year. So vintage is the retro is the theme, but it's taking all those vintage patterns that you've got at home and actually putting your own twist on it, which is why I love the idea of twin setting that t-shirt, because that is super retro and super cute and super cool. So if you have got anything that feels really retro, or you even cast that on with some retro yarn in the stash, make sure you post it up in the Skeinz Speakeasy with the hashtag retro, and you go in the draw to win some vouchers, which will be very useful for a sale that we've got coming up next month. I'm going to put this little beauty in the newsletter for you today. Isn't that a cracker? Nothing like a bit of a feral vest. This book is in such good condition. I swear it's never been used. It's in that good. It's amazing. There is so many awesome designs. This one is called Rob. And Rob is done in 4-ply, and there are so many fantastic options for that. And I would certainly look at yarns with a little bit of grip in there, but things like our Southlander, a combination of Southlander, Cozy, and Southlander, Cozy, and Cove, if you're wanting to make up a colour theme with that. But it is so much fun, and I thought I have just got to pop that one up for everyone today. I just think it's gorgeous, and there's nothing like a little bit of a feral vest, is there? I just think it's fun. Really, really gorgeous. So, in fact, is it staked? Let's have a look. Is it staked? Is it staked? 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. Yes, we know, Rob, you continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. Yes, we know, Rob, you continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continues. Rob, continued from page 13. 39 is where it continu Da-di-da, nicht bin, fein sehen. Doesn't look like. So that's good news, isn't it? Well, that's very good news. If you're not fond of taking, no, if you don't like taking to your knitting with some scissors. So there we go. I'm going to put that up today because that is loads of fun. Oh, you're welcome, Michelle. Yes, we do need to go for it. What else did I have to tell you? Oh, don't forget that we've still got the flight light that's coming today. Absolutely beautiful. Well, coming today. It's been in for a little bit. So if you are looking for merino and baby merino, this is actually the flight light is what's going to be sort of phasing out our merino soft. So if you're wanting solid colors now, that's going to be going into flight light, and merino stuff will be starting to phase through, and will just be things like the water lilies and some little prints. So that is definitely something to keep an eye out for. And if you're wanting to get, and you'll probably notice that it's a number of these colors sort of look very, very familiar. So this is baby blush, so that is why. So definitely catch up with lots of those. And don't forget also that the shop is open at the moment 10 till 2 because of the COVID hours. So that's that's weekdays only. When it comes to a certain sale event that's on next month, we are definitely doing something quite different with that. And I'm going to start warning you about this now, particularly if you're local, is at this stage with the Omicron outbreak, we're actually looking at closing the shop during sale and not having our retail store open, but placing everything online. So that means grab bags will be back. And we may even there'll be grab bags, Lucky Dip grab bags, and I know how much you guys love Lucky Dip grab bags. So that means that we will probably have them in both a thread waist version and also in a remnant ball version. So those could be coming back. So those will be going online because the shop won't be open. And we'll also have extra people to try and take phone calls for phone orders. So for those of you who aren't so good on the interweb, you can actually ring up and place an order over the phone. Why are you doing this, you say, Marie? Well, it's because we need to make sure that we keep everybody safe and maintain the ability to control people's accessibility. And that's the thing with sale. If you've ever come and visited us here in store with a sale, it can get pretty cray-cray into the shop. Well, we just can't do that in traffic light level red. Even though our shop capacity, because our shop is so large, our shop capacity means that we can have a number of people in the store. We just think the risk for everybody is just far too great. So that's the plan at this stage. But of course, everything is changing so quickly with Omicron. It could be all completely different. But I'm just giving you guys a bit of a heads up now. So if you are a local, it just means you may want to start getting prepared. And for deliveries for locals, we're going to do something very special for you as well, since you guys are going to be the ones most affected. Sale day is bonkers, Margaret said. Yes, I know, sale day is seriously bonkers. But that's why we thought we would bring those grab bags back, because we know how much you love them. And we haven't done them for ages. But of course, if we don't have the sale in store, it just means that all of those can go into grab bags online. So it is a little bit of a lucky dip. You never quite know what you're going to get, but the price is definitely well worth it. And they are so much fun. And there are some really, really amazing yarns that are coming through for grab bags. So those will be definitely back. Right, I'm going to stop talking now because I've got a million and one things that I need to get on with. Oh gosh, did you see that dreadful shocking? Sorry, I'm not sorry. So don't forget, if you want to get hold of the ladies' lunch date tea, it is available now, harniehoolies.com. So that is HARNIEHOOLIES.com. So make sure you go and purchase that. Give Julie some love and go stash diving. See what you can bust out of your stash. Something retro to power up on the Skeinz Speakeasy, and then you can win yourself a voucher to spend at the epic sale. But until then, you have a great Easter week, and I will catch you again on Thursday. Bye.